everybody, and welcome back to Project Rewind, a recreation of the first season of my Super Smash Bros. Ultimate CPU Tournament series that I held on my Instagram. Today, it's episode 3 now. Woo! We will be looking back on our third tournament, obviously, for it being episode 3. And like I said in the last episode, I thought we should spice the CPU tournament series up by throwing in some new themes for each tournament. And I thought, what a better way to throw in a new theme than to literally change the game mode in the game. For a refresher, the most popular and most prominent game mode in Smash is the stock format, in which characters have a set number of lives, and whichever one gets KO'd and loses all their lives first loses, when the last man standing is the winner. But there are also two other modes that are present in Smash Bros. To change the game. There's time mode, and one of our tournaments in the future will implement the time mode, in which characters basically duke it out and have an infinite number of lives, and try to KO as many people as possible before the time runs out, and whoever has the most KOs in the end is the winner. But today we will be using the stamina mode. As you can see, next to each of the CPU's level, there is an HP number, 150. But there is also, stocks are also implemented in this mode. You can choose how many lives you want to have, but instead of there being percentages determining how far your character will get sent flying, and how much damage, it's basically all that damage and whatnot. This makes more sense, because people tend to get confused by the whole percentage mechanic in this game. But if you implement HP into it, you start with a set number of HP, and once you get knocked down to 0 HP, that's when you lose a life. So it's basically health instead of percentages. It's hard to explain to beginners, but for those who have been in all of the live streams or were there for this tournament, you already know what stamina mode is, and you can adjust how much stamina each fighter can have in the beginning. But for this tournament, there were three. We each gave each character 3 stocks, and each live they had 150 HP, and whichever character was KO'd first or lose all their stocks, they lost, and the character would move on. Very similar to the stock format. Instead, no percentages, just health and HP. HP stands for health points, for those who, or at least I think that's what it stands for. But anyway, that's how we changed the theme up this time. There weren't too many people in this tournament in particular, but we did have a very clean bracket. No free-for-alls at all, only going to be 1v1s. And yeah, 16 people. We made for a perfect size bracket. No shows or anything, or empty spaces. So we'll be seeing consistently 2 characters each match. So yeah, let's hop on into the third tournament of the series. This was hosted on August 29th, 2020, in which we had the stamina style tournament. So let us hop into the tournament now. Let me give you the volume, appropriate volume for this. As you can see, starting us off, we have a Lucina and a Sonic. The Lucina belongs to Avery Stoll, and the Sonic belongs to Dakota Beck. So let us begin. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I had to look at something on my tab. I got an interesting message. Anyway, yeah, let us begin. Starting off the tournament, as I have said, we have a Lucina and a Sonic. Avery Stoll has the Lucina, and Dakota Beck has the Sonic. So as you can see, each character has a set number of HP next to them, and also a different thing about stamina mode, knockback, which is the distance in which your character gets sent back from a strong attack, depending on how strong or weak it is, of course. That's what, the higher your percent in like a normal stock-based mode, the higher your percent, the farther you'll get launched. But knockback isn't really a thing in stamina mode. I mean, yeah, you get sent back from an attack, but not at a very far distance. See, like, if Sonic was at a high percent after getting hit by that attack with Lucina, he would get sent pretty far into the blast zone, or possibly even get KO'd. But, of course, this is stamina mode, and knockback doesn't really play a factor in it. It's just how... Of course, knockback is still a thing. Like, if you have a strong attack, you're obviously going to send your opponent farther away, but definitely not compared to a stock match. And as you can see, damage is being racked up, and the closer you get to 0 HP, the more, yeah, you can see Lucina's HP starting to turn orange instead of, Sonic is still at a white number right now, but now it's starting to get down to a dangerous one. Basically, the lower your percentage gets, it's basically like, it's not that complicated, I'm just going into a lot of detail, trying to commentate. It's like stocks, but reverse, you know. Except knockback doesn't really play a factor. But anyway, got pretty low percentage, or I'm just so used to saying percentage, I'm sorry. Pretty low HP on Sonic, but up smash going to do quite a bit of damage, going to rack up even more. And as you can see, final smashes are still a thing. Lucina obtaining it. Is she going to get a chance to use it though? Definitely she will. Going to KO Sonic on his first stock, but Sonic going to answer right back. Both going to even it up for now. Both down to their second stock, both at 150 HP. As you can see, we're on Delfino Plaza for our first stage. We see Delfino Plaza in quite a bit of our tournaments, and this was the first case of seeing it, I believe. Sonic, getting Lucina off the stage. Oh, and yeah, it doesn't even matter if you can get your opponent off stage enough to where they can't recover. It doesn't matter about the whole stocks thing. They'll still just lose an entire life. So that doesn't play a factor. Does still play a factor. Characters still have to be careful about where they're going on the stage. Sonic going into supersonic mode, obtaining his final smash. Not a very good final smash though, gonna have to admit. Ooh, man, waited for the right time just to sock Lucina in the back or face. I can't remember which direction she was facing. Get a clean KO off of her. Lucina obtaining her final smash. Martha and Lucina having some of the strongest final smashes in the game, if not the strongest. Just a ridiculous amount of damage and knockback for in stock mode, but even still in stamina mode doing quite a bit of damage. I'm going to bring Sonic pretty close to KO HP. He's in the danger zone. I went to the danger zone. Lucina trying to find an opportunity to KO Sonic, but just Sonic being the overwhelmingly fast and speedy character he is, not going to give Lucina too many options. I feel like Sonic's really good in stamina mode, as you can see here with his just spin dash combos, just rack up a lot of percentage really fast. Sonic's still alive at 2 HP. Man, Sonic just in Lucina's face all the time. And going to be the one to take the game. And as you can see here, that was Lucina's last stock. No more HP for her. Sonic still hanging in at 2. Sonic going to take the first game. So Dakota Beck Sonic will be moving on in bracket. We're going to have to say goodbye to Avery Stoll's Lucina though. So that was the first match. Let us move on to the next match and see who our other competitors are. Moving on to our second round in the tournament, we have a King Dedede and Pac-Man. The King Dedede is owned by Zach Wisdom, and the Robin was chosen by Chance Rogers. King Dedede and Pac-Man being very popular characters in the CPU tournament series, as we will see in future tournaments. But I think I've already mentioned why King Dedede was so popular. It seems that my CPU tournament series has delved into a lot of different CPUs. And we have seen a lot of good results from King Dedede, as I've said. King Dedede going on to win 3 different tournaments in the tournament series. One tournament we won't see in the Project Rewind series because that was the finale. Kobe Phillips taking the finale with his King Dedede. Pac-Man already losing a stock. Like I said, King Dedede, no matter what mode it is, he just goes crazy. And I think there's definitely some research to be done on King Dedede CPUs. And that Pac-Man using his Final Smash to rack up the damage on King Dedede. Now, if that was on a stock match, it would look completely different. Oh my gosh! King Dedede still living at a 9 HP, going to do some hefty damage on Pac-Man with his Final Smash. Nice combo leading into it too. Pac-Man just getting obliterated right now. Finally getting a KO off of King Dedede though. With the immense amount of projectiles that Pac-Man has and the tools at his disposal, should be able to fend off his opponents pretty well, but not really in stamina mode, because knockback isn't really that big of a factor in stamina mode, so Pac-Man's going to have to work extra hard in stamina mode. That's why I don't think Pac-Man is the greatest competitor or fighter to choose in stamina mode. King Dedede, though, I guess it just doesn't seem to matter which mode he's in. He's just a good character in CPU all around to choose. King Dedede still hanging in at a healthy 93 HP. I'm going to send that Gordo right back into him though. Pac-Man not even hesitating to use his Final Smash. Hopefully get a KO off of King Dedede if he can land his attacks right. That's definitely going to be a KO. Pac-Man all of a sudden just evened the game up. But with the attacks that Dedede has, which all pack a punch, he's able to turn the tides in his favor. As we can see here, man, just racking up the damage on Pac-Man in a very, very steady and fast manner. Pac-Man's going to have to be very careful about this last stock of his, or else King Dedede is going to take it for himself. Final Smash incoming. Down tilt into Final Smash. That is insane. Going to bring him down to 0% way before Final Smash is even over. Jesus. That was brutal. Zach Wisdom going to rely on his King Dedede again in this tournament. Chance Rogers unfortunately not going to make it too far with Pac-Man as King Dedede moves on in bracket. So, let us move on to the next match in the tournament, and we will see even more competitors. Moving on to the next match, we have a Kirby and a Roy. The Kirby in this tournament belongs to Ben Doffing, and the Roy belongs to Jose. Again, I don't want to butcher his last name, but for those of you who are a fan of this series, you know exactly who I'm talking about. I like this match in particular because the characters that are in it are my two favorite characters in the game. Kirby being my main and Roy being another one of the mains I have. Kirby coming out strong with his hammer, going to trade with another attack with Roy that I couldn't quite see. Roy going to even up a little bit though. Going on to Distant Planet for the stage here. We can see a lot of crazy matches on Distant Planet because of the little ledge on the side there. Ooh, Kirby gonna fall right into Roy's Final Smash. Roy not looking at a good HP though. Kirby going to even the score. Yeah, because of that little walk off on the side there. There's one tournament in particular that cost somebody a game because of that walk off. Very close game, mind you. But anyway. Kirby obtaining his Final Smash, going to connect it on Roy, going to do some hefty damage. Kind of slightly even it up. I think Kirby and Roy are both good characters for stamina mode. Roy is just a catch-all character. Strong attacks, strong aerial attacks, and good on the ground too when he has to be. But Kirby, just a lot of really good strings that he can pull off that aren't always true in stock mode, but in stamina mode can be pulled off rather easily. He's going for some nasty attacks right now. Very close game. Oh no, Kirby going to lead Roy. Yeah, it's still a strong final smash, so not going to quite KO Kirby in terms of stamina, but it is strong enough to send him into the blast zone. Kirby seems to have found his footing. Going to get some pretty good damage on Roy at the moment. Sending him, he has no other choice, going to send him into the walk-off. Going to obtain his neutral special too. See if he can make use of it. Roy's gonna have to work extra hard in order to get in order to take this victory, but Kirby, with his, like I said, easy to pull off combos in stamina mode, going to put him at a slight disadvantage, or advantage, excuse me. Roy just having no other option just to go into the blast zone. Is that gonna KO? That is definitely gonna KO. Clean final smash finish coming from Kirby with the Ultra Sword. Ben Doffing going to move on in brackets. Gonna have to say goodbye to Jose's Roy though. Not going to move on in bracket. Very close match. I believe it was almost exactly replicated as it was in the original. But anyway, Kirby's gonna move on. Let's see who we have. Last match on the left side of the bracket, and we'll see who Kirby will have to fight in the future. Moving on into our fourth match of the tournament, we have a Cloud and a Pikachu, but more specifically, a Pikachu Libre. The Cloud was chosen by, surprise, surprise, Nathan Doffing, and the Pikachu Libre was chosen by Brady Solomon, winner of the last tournament, in case you guys have forgotten, or just haven't seen the second tournament. Pikachu Libre is a alternate costume that Pikachu has, and as you can see, the tail on Pikachu looks slightly different from the Pikachu you guys all know and love. Has a little bit of a curvature on it and even has a little heart at the end. This indicates that the Pikachu is actually a female. For those of you Pokemon experts out there, you would have recognized this almost instantly. But yeah, alternate costume and the whole Libre thing, it's just like, you know, the wrestlers, like, I'm blanking on like the names of them. But anyway, it's inspired by wrestlers, like I think Hispanic or Russian. Oh shoot! Early KO coming from Cloud right there. Very close match, but then Cloud all of a sudden decided to pick up the pace. Going to give Pikachu Libre, her, not his, her final smash rather early. Going to connect it though. He's pretty close to the blast zone. That might just be okay. Nope. I guess it's not really a KO. We've seen Anna in a tournament before. In fact, the first tournament. But I think we get Anna quite a bit in the tournament series as well, just like Delfino Plaza and many other stages we will see in the future. Going to get a limit climb hazard on Pikachu Libre. Cloud just all of a sudden just pick up the pace. It's not very good when a character attacks you very close to the ledge. You might as well just kiss your stock goodbye. Cloud's still hanging in at a 6%. Probably gonna lose it here pretty soon though, coming from the Pikachu Libre Nair. Pikachu Libre is still hanging in at her last stock, but let's see if she can retain it for as long enough to KO Cloud, whenever that may be. Pikachu Libre kind of finding a footing of Cloud. Needs to get away from that ledge in order to not lose his stock just as early as Pikachu Libre did when he used his jab. Simple jab, and that's all it took. Pikachu Libre seemed like she's being a lot more careful about how she's placing her attacks though. Cloud going to obtain his final smash. Oh, Pikachu Libre racking up the damage. Oh! The limit cross slash coming through. Oh, very tip of the nair though, going to close out the game. in Cloud's favor. And that is going to be it for that match. Very clean finish and clean game coming from Nathan Doffing's Cloud. Brady Solomon and his Pikachu Libre not going to move on in bracket, unfortunately, but both played well. So now let us move on to the right side of the bracket, and we shall see even more competitors.